Hi, I'm Charles Tran, and welcome to Live Mobile Technology. Brivo offers several access control systems, but the most widely used for enterprise environments is the ACS6000 and ACS6100. In this video series, we'll cover the ACS6000 and ACS6100 system in full, including overviews, wiring, network setup, configuration, and best practices for deployment. Part 1 begins here. In this video, we're going over the Brivo ACS6000 and ACS6100 series, covering the features, functions, and how controller area network bus or CAN bus wiring works across the system. The ACS6100 series has two control panel types, the ACS6100RE, a regular panel, and the ACS6100LE, a large panel. The ACS6100 uses the ACS6000 MBE as the main controller. The large chassis includes two power supplies and offers a smaller footprint than previous boards. It supports up to 30 readers using up to 14 expansion boards. The ACS6000 MBE supports Ethernet, Wi-Fi 2.4 GHz, and cellular communication. Each power supply supports up to 4 boards. The system also supports Brivo wireless lock integrations and both Wiegand and OSDP readers. The panel can buffer up to 60,000 events and store 250,000 credentials offline. It supports up to 120 input points, 118 output points, up to 14 expansion boards, combining ACS6100 DB door boards and ACS6100 input-output boards. The port configuration includes 2 reader ports, Wiegand or RS485 OSDP, 2 door position points, 2 request to exit points, 4 auxiliary input points, 2 door lock relays with wet output option, and 4 auxiliary output relays. There are 2 types of expansion chassis available for the ACS6100 series, the ACS6100 REXP or regular expansion chassis, and the ACS6100 LEXP or large expansion chassis. The ACS6100 REXP holds up to 4 boards, measures 17.3 inches high, 15.7 inches wide, and 4 inches deep, supports up to 8 readers, and comes with 1 rechargeable battery and 1 power supply board. While the ACS6100 LEXP holds up to 8 boards, measures 27.3 inches high, 15.7 inches wide, and 4 inches deep, supports up to 16 readers, and includes 2 rechargeable batteries along with 2 power supply boards. The ACS6000 MBE board acts as the central processing and communication hub. It handles processor and local memory, communication to the internet, interfaces for Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and cellular, and local configuration and diagnostics interface. The key components of the ACS6000 MBE include Wi-Fi antenna connection, USB connection, admin port, main and local heartbeat LEDs, RS485 termination switches, panel ID number, Molex connector for power supply, 12 volts DC at 3 amps input, toggle switch for dry-wet output, switches for Wiegand or RS485 OSDP, SW7 switch bank, LAN port, and CAN bus terminal. Reminders: the board has 2 reader ports that support both Wiegand or OSDP readers. For input points, it has 2 door position, 2 REX, 4 auxiliary inputs. For output relays, it has 2 lock switching, 4 auxiliary relays, 6 amps at 28 volts DC. The ACS6100 DB is not the main controller, but functions similarly to the ACS6000 MBE. It includes Door 2 I/O terminal blocks, Door 1 I/O terminal blocks, Door 1 OSDP EOL switches, Door 2 OSDP EOL switches, power terminal blocks, Reader 1 and 2 terminal blocks, CAN bus terminal block, CAN bus termination switch, and tamper and board address DIP switches. Here are a few more functions of the door board. It has 2 reader ports that support both Wiegand or OSDP readers. For input points, it has 2 door position, 2 REX, 4 auxiliary inputs. And for output relays, it has 2 lock relays, 2 auxiliary, 3 amps at 28 volts DC. The ACS6100 input and output board includes 8 output terminal blocks, power terminal blocks, 8 input terminal blocks, CAN bus terminal block, CAN bus termination switch, and tamper and board address DIP switches. One thing to keep in mind that the board has 8 input points as well as 8 output relays. Now that we've gone over the features and functions of the ACS6000 and ACS6100, let's talk about the CAN bus wiring system. The CAN bus, or Controller Area Network Bus, is a method of connecting Brivo boards with wires that allows them to communicate and function properly in real time. It supports system growth via multi-chassis connection. Use standard Cat5e or Cat6 UTP cable. For single chassis, use the included CAN bus cable. For multiple chassis, create a custom cable between units. There are a couple of rules in wiring the CAN bus connections. Always connect matching terminals, example A to A, B to B, etc. Use twisted pair cable. The system consists of A and B for data circuit and C and D for system reset circuit. Here's the wiring color guidelines. Green A and green or white B for data circuit, blue G and D for ground, and orange C and orange or white D for system reset. Here's where the CAN bus termination switches are located for Brivo ACS6000 MBE, ACS6100 DB, and ACS6100 DB I/O boards. And here's where the CAN bus terminal block are located for Brivo ACS6000 MBE, ACS6100 DB, and ACS6100 DB I/O boards. Important note, all Brivo boards have their CAN bus switches enabled by default. Disabling the switch is required for all boards that are not first or last in the circuit. The ACS6000 and ACS6100 are connected in a single chassis. Certain ACS6100 enclosures are built to house the ACS6000 main board alongside ACS6100 expansion boards, all linked through the CAN bus. This diagram illustrates the connection flow from the main controller to its daughter boards. Here's a diagram showing a CAN bus wiring system. Notice that the wiring begins with the main control board in the controller chassis. It winds into multiple board to expansion chassis 1 and eventually ends on expansion chassis 2. Remember, the only termination switch that should be enabled are the ones in the beginning and end panel. Disable all the terminal switch in the middle. When you are wiring a CAN bus, be aware that star connections are not allowed. The wirings must go through boards one by one and cannot connect to multiple boards on the same board. T-tap connections are not allowed either. The wiring must go through boards one by one and cannot connect to multiple boards at a time. That concludes part 1 of our Brivo ACS6000 and ACS6100 series, where we explored the key features, core functions, and the integration of CAN bus wiring across the system. Stay tuned for the next episode, where we'll walk through mounting, installing, and wiring the components together. I'll also be releasing a separate video on terminating the switches and connecting the CAN bus wiring, so don't miss it. For more Brivo-related content, check out my Brivo full playlist on my channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe.